All right, guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another reaction video. Today, I have for you the worst roller coaster deaths ever. Now, just to preface, I'm not much of a roller coaster fan myself. Anyone that knows me in real life knows that I'm not the type to get on a roller coaster. If you're looking for a roller coaster buddy, I'm definitely not the guy you come to. And this video, I'm sure, will not help my liking for roller coasters at all. But yeah, I found this little fun video, so I want to check it out. So yeah, here we go. The Batman is up first, which that already looks terrifying. The worst roller coasters deaths ever. Let's check it out.
The Batman. On June 28, 2008, 17-year-old Asia LaShawn Ferguson visited Six Flags Over Georgia with his family and church group. The Batman was an inverted roller coaster where passengers' legs dangled freely below the track. During his ride,
Yeah.
Ferguson's hat flew off his head. After the ride ended, he wanted to retrieve it. The hat had landed in a restricted area beneath the roller coaster tracks. Warning signs marked the zone as off-limits. Ferguson climbed over two 6-foot fences to reach the area where his hat had fallen. As he searched below, another
Man, is a hat that worth it?
train approached on the track above him. The train was traveling at 50 miles per hour. A passenger's dangling foot struck Ferguson in the head. The impact was instant. Ferguson was decapitated.
Oh my God, his
Witnesses
head came
saw the
off?
collision. The train continued to the station, while Ferguson's body lay below. Six Flags temporarily
What happened? Did they sue them? I mean, I don't think they can sue. There's two fences that say warning, do not cross, and they say, and they're 6 foot tall. That's another thing. I mean, it takes some athleticism to even cross those. So, God, that's horrible.
closed the Batman ride. It reopened the following day. The park added security
The following day, it reopened. God,
around restricted
they
areas
didn't take much time to mourn, did
and
they?
more warning signs. Ferguson's death became one of the most graphic roller coaster fatalities in recent years. The Big
That's
Dipper.
horrible.
On May 30th, 1972, a warm Tuesday afternoon in London, schools had just broken up for half-term, and Battersea Fun Fair was packed. The Big Dipper was a wooden roller coaster that had been operating since 1951. 3 cars connected by a steel cable. The cable pulled the cars up a steep incline, then gravity did the rest. Around 2:30 p.m., 31 passengers climbed aboard, mostly children and teenagers.
Don't
At
tell me they all died. I feel like I would have heard about it if that many
the
people
front
died.
rode a brakeman whose job was to control the brakes. The train began its climb.
How
Then
is
the
he
haulage
staying in the? How is he staying
ropes
leveled? How is he staying grounded? Like, what in the world?
snapped. The train hesitated at the top, then started rolling backwards. The brakeman lunged for the brake lever, but nothing happened. The brake system did not respond. The safety devices that should have stopped a rollback were missing or broken. As the train picked up speed,
Great.
it hit the curve at the bottom at full speed. The wooden track
Holy
couldn't handle the
crap.
force. The first car jumped the rails, smashed through the barrier, and plunged 15 feet. The other 2 cars
dead.
followed. Passengers were thrown from their seats. When the chaos ended, 5 children were dead, and 13 others were seriously injured.
That's
Later,
horrible.
a 15-year-old girl who had survived the crash was standing on a wooden walkway when the platform collapsed beneath her feet. She fell to her death. The subsequent
Oh my God.
investigation revealed 66 safety violations. The rope was in poor condition. Most
See?
safety devices
See, this is why if you just don't ride roller coasters in the first place, you'll never get hurt.
were missing or broken. Investigators also found that employees had been drinking and using drugs while working. The ride's manager and engineer were later acquitted
Real professional over
of
there.
manslaughter charges. The Big Dipper was torn down, and Battersea Fun Fair closed by 1974. Britain
Good.
brought fairgrounds under safety laws following the incident. The Shockwave. On August 23, 1999, 20-year-old
Shockwave. That just sounds like some dangerous mess. Imagine you're going to the Bay, man. You want to go to this new theme park? They have a ride called the Shockwave. Yeah, that sounds real nice.
Timothy Fan visited King's Dominion with a friend. The
Oh,
Shockwave was a
I've been there.
9.
This was in 1999.
20-year-old Timothy Fan visited King's Dominion.
I haven't been to King's Dominion. I was at King's Dominion when I was like 10 years old. That was a long time ago. So I don't remember what it would look like. But yeah, this doesn't look familiar. I do remember a lot of forest being around the area because I'm pretty sure it's in Virginia. But
with a friend. The Shockwave was a stand-up roller coaster. Passengers stood upright, secured by shoulder harnesses and waist bars. Fan boarded the 6-car train. As the train climbed the lift hill and began its descent, witnesses noticed something wrong. Fan was wiggling and struggling against his restraints. He managed to work one arm free from the shoulder harness. His
Oh
body began to
God.
contort sideways as the train gained speed through the
Oh
course.
God. He got out of his restraints.
Near the end of the ride, the coaster entered a
Oh
180-degree
my
curve. The
God.
forces acting on Fan's body proved too powerful. He was violently ejected from the
Oh.
train and thrown 40 feet onto a catwalk beside the tracks. Fan died instantly from
Oh
head
my
trauma.
God.
When the train returned to the station, Fan's restraints were still locked. He had deliberately worked himself free during the ride. The shockwave reopened 3 days later.
Why?
The Mindbender. On
Why? Did he want to die?
June 14, 1986,
That's
the
terrible.
West Edmonton Mall in Alberta was packed with visitors. The mall housed an indoor amusement park featuring the Mindbender, a triple-loop steel roller coaster. The Mindbender had 4 cars connected in a train. It reached speeds of 60 miles per hour and took passengers through 3 complete loops. The ride had passed a safety inspection the day before. That evening, Rod Chico and 3 friends climbed into the last car of
Let me guess. That wasn't true.
the train. The train launched and completed the first 2 loops. As it entered the third loop, 4 cap screws in the wheel assembly failed. The last car began to fishtail wildly. The wheel detached from the track. The car derailed completely. The lap bar restraints unlocked, ejecting all 4 passengers 30 feet to the concrete floor below. The train, slowed by the derailment, rolled backwards and crashed into a concrete support pillar. Rescuers found 3 passengers dead.
Holy.
Rod Chaco survived, but was critically injured. Both his
3
legs were
dead.
shattered, along with his ribs, shoulder, pelvis, and lower back. His body was folded in half from the impact.
He's basically going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
He spent months learning to walk again. The investigation found design flaws in the wheel assembly and inadequate maintenance. The cap screws had worked loose over time. The Mindbender was
God, I'm so thankful. The roller coasters I've been on haven't failed.
closed
Dude.
for months while engineers redesigned
I
the
feel like
system.
that's the scariest thing in the world. Being on a roller coaster and being at the very top and you just fly out. Oh my God, that's so traumatizing.
When it reopened, anti-rollback devices were installed, seatbelts were added, and the train was reduced from 4 cars to 3. The accident became Canada's worst roller coaster disaster. The Big Dipper 2. On July 24,
second one?
1930, a hot summer day in Omaha, Nebraska, Krug Park was packed with visitors. The Big Dipper was a wooden roller coaster, 4 cars connected in a train. The ride pulled passengers up the first hill, then gravity did the rest. That afternoon, 23 passengers filled the 4 cars. Among them were Gladys Lundgren, C.H. Stout, Anthony Politica, and 15-year-old Ruth Frell. The train began its climb up the first hill. Then a bolt in the brake
There's some weird names.
mechanism worked loose and jammed one of the wheels. The first car jumped the track. It broke through the guardrail and plunged 35 feet to the ground. The other 3 cars were dragged off behind it. Passengers were thrown from their seats or
How
crushed
did anybody survive this?
beneath the derailed cars. The impact was devastating. 4 people were dead and 19 others were seriously injured. But the crowd of spectators had surged forward to see what happened. Thousands of people surrounded the crash site, blocking emergency access. Ambulances arrived, but couldn't reach the victims.
Yeah, that's what people do.
Police were forced to break down sections of the park fence to create routes for medical personnel. The investigation found that the loose bolt had caused the wheel to lock up, forcing the car off the rails. Krug Park never recovered. Attendance dropped, and the park closed by 1940. The city of
Yeah.
Omaha banned roller coasters for years afterwards. The site was later converted into a public park with no rides. The Big Dipper accident became known as the deadliest roller coaster disaster in U.S. history at that time. The Matterhorn bobsleds. On January 3, 1984, 48-year-old Dolly Young visited Disneyland with 5 friends. The Matterhorn bobsleds featured small sleds that traveled through an artificial mountain at 43 miles per hour. Young sat alone in her sled while her friends took the parallel track. The sleds began their descent through the mountain's tunnels. Partway through the ride, Young fell from her bobsled onto the tracks. An oncoming sled
Oh,
approached
no.
on the parallel track. The family inside thought the figure on the tracks was a dummy. The bobsled struck Young at full speed. She was decapitated instantly. The father in the oncoming sled realized what had happened. He
He saw it.
screamed at his daughters to close their eyes as their sled passed over Young's body. The ride operators shut down the attraction when Young's empty sled arrived at the station. Young was pronounced dead at the scene. Her safety restraint
Really?
was found fastened on a neighboring seat. The Matterhorn reopened the next day. Disney made modifications to the ride, though the changes were not disclosed.
They didn't change anything.
The
They
Wild
just said
Wonder.
that for
On
public
August
reasons.
28,
Legal
1999,
reasons.
Kimberly Bailey and her 8-year-old daughter Jessica visited Jillian's Wonderland Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey. The Wild Wonder was a small steel roller coaster. Individual cars were pulled up a 40-foot incline before rolling through the course. Bailey and Jessica climbed into one of the cars. As their car neared the top of the lift hill, the anti-rollback mechanism failed. The car lost contact with the lift chain and began rolling backwards down the incline. The car gained speed as it hurtled toward the station.
Oh,
It
God, did it slam into the back of the other one and they went flying?
crashed violently into the loading area at the bottom. Bailey and Jessica were thrown from the car.
God.
Both died instantly.
Yeah, I mean, that probably that probably was so much pressure on their back, dude.
The park had replaced the coaster's anti-rollback device with an unapproved, locally made part. The faulty component had failed to engage. The Wild Wonder was shut down and removed. New Jersey upgraded its regulations to require manufacturer-approved parts only. The Derby Racer. In 1911, the Derby Racer opened at Revere Beach, Massachusetts. It featured 2 parallel tracks where trains raced against each other in a figure-8 pattern. The ride had no
That's a bad idea.
restraints, no speed controls, and basic wooden construction. Passengers simply held on as the trains
I think people like before the 1950s just didn't care about safety at all, and they just
raced around curves and
tried
hills.
everything.
Within weeks of opening, disaster struck. A man was thrown from his car during a turn and died. Later that year, the company's own treasurer was killed. He had stood up in his car to lecture passengers about safety when he was ejected from the ride. Authorities closed the coaster and demanded safety
Why would you do that?
improvements. The owners installed primitive brakes and lap bars before reopening, but the deaths continued. On a busy day in 1917, a man lost his hat during the ride. He tried to retrieve it and fell out of his car on a high incline. He
Oh my God!
landed
What?
on the adjacent track. The other racing trains struck him at full speed. The wreckage told the story. The impact broke nearly every bone in his body. He died shortly after.
Yeah, I was like,
Another passenger was thrown from the train in 1929. Despite 3 confirmed deaths and numerous injuries,
they didn't close
the
it.
Derby Racer continued operating for 25
Oh my
years.
God.
Each incident led to
That's
minor
what I'm saying. People like pre 1950 were like, oh, it's fine. And just put water on it. Put an ice bag on it. It'll be fine.
but the fundamental design remained dangerous. The ride's license was revoked and reinstated multiple times as authorities struggled with the deadly attraction. The Derby Racer finally closed in 1936
Good.
when it was replaced by a newer model. It became known as one of the most dangerous roller coasters ever built. The Rough Riders. In 1910, the Rough Riders roller coaster opened at Coney Island. The ride featured an electric-powered system where the motorman controlled speed with a throttle. That first year, the train derailed on a sharp curve. 17 passengers were thrown from the track.
Yeah, let's just have some drunk high school kid control some ride with 30 people. And yeah, I mean, look at that corner right there. Look at that corner. That's way too sharp, especially to have some kid controlling the ride. It's way too sharp. I can only imagine what this side looks like.
The ride featured an electric-powered system where the motorman
Look
controlled
at that. Look at that. I saw the one on. Look at that one on the inside right there. Look at that. Look how sharp that turn is.
speed with a throttle. That first year, the train derailed on a sharp curve. 17 passengers were thrown from the track. 3 people were dead, and many others were seriously injured. Coney Island officials made minor improvements, but the ride continued operating. 5 years later, on July 27, 1915, 6 passengers boarded the Rough Riders. As the train gained speed down a steep incline, it approached a sharp turn. The motorman took the turn too fast. The train's wheels left the track. The car flipped on its side 30 feet in the air. Passengers were hurled into an iron railing and fell to the ground below. The damage was severe. 3 riders were killed by the fall. 2 others clung to the wrecked car until police rescued them. A woman and her son survived by hanging onto the handrail. A bystander on the ground was struck by a falling body. The Rough Riders had now killed 6 people in 5 years.
They don't think to maybe take the license away from this?
The ride was shut down after the 1915 accident and dismantled within a few years. The repeated tragedies helped establish early safety regulations at Coney Island, including requirements for better braking systems and restraints. The Fujin Raijin 2. On May 5, 2007, Expoland Amusement Park in Osaka was packed with visitors for Children's Day. Fujin Raijin 2 was a stand-up roller coaster. 20 passengers boarded the 6-car
I never heard of Children's
train,
Day.
including 19-year-old university student Yoshino Kogawara. The train launched and began its course. As it traveled 131 feet above the ground, passengers heard a loud crack. The second car suddenly derailed.
Ooh,
The
that's
wheel
not
axle
good.
had snapped, causing the car to tilt violently. Kogawara was thrown against the guardrail at high speed. She struck her head and was killed instantly. The derailed car dragged the rest of the train for 984
What happened to the other person in
feet before stopping. 19 other passengers were injured. The investigation revealed extreme negligence. The park had skipped annual maintenance in 2007. The wheel axle had not been replaced in 15 years. Park officials had reported the
What do they think? Like, what do they think's gonna happen? Like, no, no, it's fine. It'll be
axle
alright.
as
Nothing will
good
happen.
condition based only on visual inspection. The axle had cracked
Good
from metal fatigue.
condition?
Proper testing would have detected the crack, but Expoland had bypassed all safety requirements. Expoland's attendance collapsed after the accident. The park briefly reopened but closed permanently in 2009 as the owners declared bankruptcy. The Son of Beast. In 2000, Kings Island opened Son of Beast, a wooden roller coaster that reached speeds of 78 miles per hour. The ride had problems from the start, with track malfunctions and rough jolting. In 2001, riders suffered broken vertebrae and a broken neck. Another passenger was hospitalized with back injuries.
Sounds like a good ride to me. Keep it open.
In 2003. On July 9, 2006, 27 passengers were aboard when one train cracked a support beam while passing through the Rose Bowl section. The damaged beam caused the track to sag. When the next train hit the weakened section,
Ooh.
the track
What did like jump up?
dipped suddenly. The jolt was brutal.
Yep.
27 people were rushed to hospitals with chest and neck injuries. One passenger said it felt like hitting a brick wall. The investigation found cracked and splintered wooden support beams throughout the structure. Son of Beast reopened after modifications, but another accident occurred in 2009.
Let me guess. Something else happened?
A passenger suffered a broken blood vessel in her head. The ride never operated again. It was demolished in 2012. Son of Beast had become one of the most notorious failures in roller coaster history. The Cobra. In 2008,
it can't be that hard to make a working roller
the
coaster.
Cobra
right?
roller coaster opened at Tivoli Friheden Amusement Park in Aarhus, Denmark. Months after opening, the front car detached from the track. 4 young riders were injured with fractures and concussions. The park made repairs, and the Cobra continued operating. On July 14, 2022, riders felt a jolt and heard cracking metal as the train went through its course. The rear car broke off from the track.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Imagine how scared these people were. Imagine being the car that in front of the one.
Last row of seats detached and hung off the side of the coaster. A 14-year-old girl in the rear car was thrown and killed. A 13-year-old boy next to her suffered a hand injury, but survived. The train ground to a halt. Park staff evacuated
Imagine how
the area.
guilty he feels.
The girl could,
If he would have chose that seat, he would have died.
but survived. The train ground to a halt. Park staff evacuated the area. The girl could not be saved. The same structural flaw had now caused 2 major accidents. Tivoli Friheden dismantled the Cobra the next day, and the ride was permanently closed. The Cobra had failed twice in identical fashion over 14 years of operation.
Yeah.
The Quimera.
At that point, it's just a ride.
On September
If your ride can't keep people alive,
28th,
you clearly don't need
2019,
to have a ride.
visitors gathered at La Feria Chapultepec Mágico in Mexico City. Quimera was a triple-loop steel roller coaster. The aging Schwarzkopf model had a history of maintenance issues. That day, witnesses saw the last car of a train shake violently and derail on a turn near the end of the ride. The rear car flipped upside down and detached completely.
Yep. And those
2 riders
people
were
are
thrown
dead.
out from 33 feet. 2 young men, ages 18 and 21, died from head injuries. 2 women were also injured when the car slammed into the structure. The investigation found that a component in the car's axle assembly had broken, causing it to detach. Mexico City authorities immediately closed La Feria Chapultepec. Investigators found multiple safety violations.
Well, that's good. Maybe it's good they didn't try and we redid it, we rebuilt it, and they didn't really fix anything. They just
And revoked the
said
park's
that for-
permit. Within months, the historic amusement park was permanently shut down and dismantled. If you enjoyed this video,
There we go.
subscribe for similar ones and feel free to drop
I did enjoy
suggestions
this
for the
video.
next video in the comments.
I will link this video in the description. This is a good video. After this, I am for sure not going to ride any more roller coasters. That's crazy. I've only ridden probably like maybe 20 roller coasters in my life, and none of those have failed. So for the most part, I think roller coasters are safe. But for the sake of me just simply not liking roller coasters, I'm just never going to ride any roller coasters again. But what about you, though? Do you like roller coasters? Should I ride more roller coasters? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Until the next time, though, have a great day or night, and peace out.